about if it's not a common thing at the moment for soulmates to be joined and we're in relationships, then how should we deal with those relationships that we're in? I mean, like, we're probably not aware, like I'm not aware if I'm with my soulmate now, but I quite possibly could be. Well, that's going to wait for me to start opening myself up.
All of you have attracted your current relationship because of whatever is going on inside of your soul attraction. Your soul attraction is currently a mixture of errors and truth, right? Right at the moment. This attraction is being caused so that you can work through your emotional injuries, okay? As well as learn to experience emotional truths. So, do it in your relationship. Start being totally honest with each other. So every one of you is afraid to tell the truth. Start telling the truth with every single thing and see what happens. Start being totally open and honest about your own feelings with every single thing and see what happens. Start, you know, if you cheated on them 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 5 years ago, tell them, see what happens. Do you see that it's going to bring up some things? Yeah. Let yourself do that. And let yourself see what happens. This relationship is there to heal all of these injuries that you have. But it's your attraction. So stay in it, see what happens. But be in truth, be humble, be open to divine truth in that process. Yeah. How many felt confronted with that statement?
Yeah.
So, are you saying by that if the person that you're in a relationship is not your soulmate, it's still a good thing because it's the opportunity
Totally.
to deal with things anyway?
Your law of attraction has attracted this person into your life for reasons. So you need to allow yourself to work through these reasons truthfully and humbly in your life, yeah. So do that. Don't avoid that. When you avoid that, that stops your growth. So don't go into any relationship thinking, and this, don't go into every relationship thinking, this one's my soulmate, I'm going to have to stay with them forever. Right? Go into the relationship thinking instead, I'm attracting this person, there's an attraction going on between the two of us, to work through some things. So this is how I still feel, even though I know I've met my soulmate. Like, I don't feel like I have to be with her. I feel like I want to work through all of these emotional injuries that are coming up within me and for her together in that transaction. I've attracted my soulmate now, and I know she's my soulmate, but I've still got the same viewpoint as what you need to have in your own relationship. I attracted this, things are coming up, I need to deal with them honestly, openly, truthfully, and in love. Do that, and you'll soon work out who you're with.
So it's possible to be with your soulmate and still be able to work through it all?
It's totally possible to be with your soulmate and be able to work through it. Your soulmate is going to be one of your biggest triggers. But if you're not with your soulmate, you've attracted this other person to work through something that if you attracted your soulmate, you probably wouldn't work through. Right? So trust what's going on right now with your law of attraction. And work your way through the issues that are coming up in the relationship, but be honest and truthful. Issues don't come up when you're dishonest. They don't. You notice that? Like when you don't tell them you bought the dress, of course nothing comes up, right?
I do.
Yeah.
That was years ago. I've worked through a lot of those issues.
Yeah. Now you just say stuff in you.
Yeah.
And that's another issue, right? But anyway. But the key thing is to work through these issues. Because if you work through these issues and heal them, what will happen in the end is that you'll be able to recognise the person who is your soulmate, and that person may in fact be the person you're with. Yes. And you know, and this is a confronting statement for you, but you know, your soulmate might be a murderer. Well, there are murderers in the world, aren't there?
Yeah. So they've got another half somewhere, haven't they?
And they've got another half somewhere, haven't they?
Unless they murder.
Yeah. And historically, there have been many people who have had a soulmate who's a murderer. For example, you've all heard of Nero. Emperor Nero?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, in the Paget messages, and this is on the CDs that I've given you, and I'll talk about them in a second. In the Paget messages, there's a message from Nero. And he describes his life when he was on earth. He actually murdered his own soulmate. Right? And he found out about that after he passed into the spirit world and lived in the spirit world for over 500 years. After that, he found out that he'd actually murdered his soulmate. Yeah. And do you think he'd had a fair few issues to work through about that? Yeah, he did.
Well, that she was troubled.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't actually. She passed in a very good spiritual condition on earth. She was in the third sphere before she passed, and she was killed in a like the lions killed her in an arena that he'd organised, and she passed in a very good condition, and she knew he was her soulmate very shortly after she'd passed. So you imagine she waited for nearly 1,000 years for her soulmate of our time, working through, if she worked through all of her emotional issues and got to the celestial spheres, and then when he was ready, she went to him and started sorting him out, shall we say. And he progressed, and he had lots of emotions to work through, and eventually they're both now in the celestial spheres. That's a movie I want to make at some point in the future about them, those two.